What's up, Willowbrook? Today we are in Song of Songs, chapter 1. Now, there's a little bit of debate as to who actually wrote Song of Songs, although most scholars seem to think it was King Solomon. In 1 Kings 4:32, it actually says that Solomon wrote 1,005 songs. Now, that's a lot of songs. I'm a songwriter, and whether or not you write songs, trust me, that's a lot of songs. So to call this one in particular the Song of Songs is ultimately like saying that this is the best out of all those songs. That's a pretty big deal. Now, along with that debate about who actually wrote the book, there's another debate, and it's what do we do with this? How do we interpret this book? So there are several ways you could interpret this book. One way is to view it as God's love for his people. Another way you could view it is Christ's love for the church. And I don't think these are necessarily wrong or bad, but I think that the best way to approach it is to view it in more of a literal sense, to read this book as a love poem between a man and a woman, a husband and a wife. And that's ultimately what I think we have here. I think we have a picture of love and physical intimacy in the proper context of marriage, and how that is a good and right thing, and that is something that's of God. Now, if you haven't read chapter 1 today, I encourage you to do so. And then notice the language that the man and the woman use towards one another. In verse 2, she says, "Your love is more delightful than wine." In verse 15, he says, "How beautiful you are, my darling." In verse 16, she says, "How handsome you are, my beloved." See, they express their love for one another like this in chapter 1 and throughout the whole book. So when I see this, to me, this looks like a pattern that we can follow today. So that's what I want to do. I want to encourage you and maybe even challenge you to say how you feel to your spouse. See, it's not enough to just know you love your spouse. I think that we should be saying it and expressing that love every single day. If this love poem between a man and a woman is important enough to be in the Bible, then that makes me think that this picture of love and marriage and physical intimacy is important to God. So if you're married, your marriage is important to God. So I want to encourage you every day for the next week, take a moment and tell and express to your spouse how much you love them, how much you appreciate them. And I pray that God blesses you and blesses everything you do. We'll see you next time.